Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Petty Romance, a Korean romantic comedy from 2010. Seoul, the present day. In need of money to redeem a treasured family portrait, a struggling manhwa artist, played by Lee Sun-kyun, takes part in a publishing company's competition for an adult manga with a prize of 130 million won, which translates to roughly 100,000 US dollars. Advised that his big weakness is his storytelling, he advertises for a professional writer and ends up hiring a self-important woman, played by Choi Kang-hee, with whom he agrees to split the prize 50-50 if they win. So Petty Romance is a fairly laid-back romantic comedy with lots of time spent in the main protagonist's apartment as our lovebirds brainstorm and clash with each other regarding the storyline and style of their kind of comic project. There's good chemistry between the leads, which is vitally important for a film of this kind within this genre. One amusing aspect is that our female lead she's like delightfully overconfident. Her former career basically consisted of her own ideas getting rejected by her boss, and then she's ordered to copy material from another publication instead. So she hasn't had a successful history of writing, let's put it that way. And yet, she constantly berates and criticizes our lead male character for his terrible writing ideas, which is quite ironic given the situation. But it's funny how her attitude kind of changes throughout the film after they start to kind of hit it off together and form a romantic relationship. But this is a funny movie overall. I like the humor in it. Comedy works. There is quite a bit of sex talk in this, but it's more or less lighthearted and pleasant, really. There's a foreplay scene that's actually surprisingly funny. There's really not much in terms of gross out humor or obnoxious frat boy style humor, which is a positive in my opinion. The lack of those things is always a good thing to me. There is some nudity and sensuality, but it's tastefully done. Some of it is actually animated in comic book style, which kind of accentuates the premise and storyline of the film. Some of the highlight moments in the movie are the animated comic book segments, which is a nice little touch. And like most movies within this genre, things have to get at least moderately serious at some point, and it does happen here. There are some obstacles that get in the way of our lovebirds completing their manga project, and those obstacles begin to manifest later on. There are some cliche moments during the second half of the film, but they will likely not be a problem for fans of this genre of film. And despite the fact that Petty Romance is probably more laid back than a typical romantic comedy, it does have some energy to it. It does. And it's infused by the actors. Now, Choi Kang-hee, very likable persona. I'm not really sure if international audiences are that familiar with her. I mean, I looked at her filmography and her TV listings, and it looks like the more notable titles that I'm aware of are Protect the Boss and My Scary Girl, which is a pretty interesting romantic comedy horror film. There are actually a bunch of titles, including TV shows, that I have not seen with her leading them, so after watching Petty Romance, I kind of feel like doing a mini marathon of her stuff at some point, because she's quite good in this. Now, Lee Sun-kyun is likely a lot more recognizable to people internationally, if only because he was in Bong Joon-ho's film Parasite. He is one of the best Korean actors, I would say. He's one of my favorites. Definitely top 5, I would say. And I've mentioned that many times on this channel. I don't think I've ever seen this guy give a bad performance, in anything. Very entertaining in Petty Romance, and he's one of the main reasons why I like the movie. Now, I don't think this movie is going to blow your socks off, especially if you have a hatred for romantic comedies. This is not going to change your mind. I do think Petty Romance will play better to fans of this genre, or people who have already seen the heavy hitters from South Korea. Obviously you should watch stuff like My Sassy Girl, Couples, Castaway on the Moon, All About My Wife, Crush and Blush, How to Use Guys with Secret Tips, I'm a Cyborg But That's Okay, etc. Basically, a lot of the films that I've reviewed on this site that are romantic comedies. After you check out a bunch of those, then you could hit up something like Petty Romance, in my opinion, which is just a good solid, 2 hours of entertainment. You can still find some DVD copies floating around on eBay, and that's probably the best place to find this, because I couldn't find a free streaming site for it. And as always, I will see you next time.